Welcome to
Coding with Kids.
My name is Kalia.
And mine is Andrew.
Today we're in Edabit.
So Edabit is a coding platform where there are lots and lots of problems you can solve using different kinds of coding languages. So today we're going to do 3 easy coding challenges in Edabit using Python. So our first problem is called moving house. The instructions are, I'd like to calculate how long on average I have lived in the same house. Given a person's age and the number of times they've moved houses in the variable moves, return the average number of years that they've spent living in the same house. So for example, it will give us the age of the person, and then the number of times they moved. So here, 30 years and 1 move, that means 2 houses, so you do 30 divided by 2 equals 15. Okay, and then you also need to round to the nearest year. Okay, so first we have a function called years in one house with variables age and moves. So first we're going to create a variable called houses equals moves plus 1, because I figured out that the number of moves plus 1 is the number that you have to divide the age by to get the answer.
Because they still will have to have one house and then they move to another house. So they'll have, like, if they move 2 times, they'll have their first house and then they move to a second house and they move to a third house.
So then we're going to make a variable called years equals age divided by houses to figure out how many years on average the person spent in each house. So then we also need to round to the nearest year, so we're going to do a variable called rounded and use the function round, and we're going to round the number of years to and then we put 0 because that's how many decimal places we want, which is 0 decimal places, just the whole number. Finally, we're just going to return the variable rounded. Now we're going to check our test cases. There's 80 and 0 moves, so you just do 80 years in one house.
So that person stayed in one house for their whole life.
Yeah, and then there's a baby that's 1 year old, and there's 0 moves, so there's 1 year in one house. Okay, so we pass all our tests onto our next coding challenge. It's called basketball points. The instructions are, you are counting points for a basketball game. Given the amount of 3 pointers scored and 2 pointers scored, find the final points for the team and return that value. Okay, so here it will give us 2 pointers scored and 3 pointers scored. Here there is 1 2-pointer and 1 3-pointer, so 2 plus 3 equals 5. Okay, so first we have a function called points with 2 variables, 2 pointers and 3 pointers.
So the first number will be 2 pointers, which is 2 points, and the second number will be 3 pointers, which is 3 points.
Okay, so first we're going to calculate how many points for each kind of shot. So we're going to create a variable called shots for 2 equals 2 pointers times 2, because each 2-pointer you make is 2 points. And then we're going to do the same for 3 pointers. So shots for 3 equals 3 pointers times 3. So now we have all the points, but now we still need to add them. So we're going to do total points equals shots for 2 plus shots for 3, which is the total amount of points. And then we're going to return the total amount of points and see the test cases. So there is 1 and 2, so I think that is 2 3-pointers and 1 2-pointer. So 3 plus 3 equals 6, and 6 plus 2 equals 8. There's also 2 and 2, which is 2 3-pointers equals 6, and 2 2-pointers equals 4. 6 plus 4 equals 10.
And there's a 69 and a 420.
That's a lot. That's impossible. Okay, so we pass all the tests on to our final coding challenge. It's called frames per second. Create a function that returns the number of frames shown in a given number of minutes for a certain FPS. So FPS stands for frames per second. So for example, here there is 1 minute and 1 frame per second. So there are 60 seconds in 1 minute, so we're just going to do 60 frames in that number of minutes with that frames per second. Okay. So first we have a function called frames with 2 variables, minutes and frames per second. So first we're just going to easily convert minutes to the seconds, so we can easily multiply the frames per second times the number of seconds in this number of minutes. So first we're gonna do a variable called seconds equals minutes times 60, because there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So now we have the total number of seconds. So there's frames per second, so we can do FPS2 equals seconds times FPS. So seconds and the FPS are both different each time, so we're going to use the variable. So now in FPS2 we have the total number of frames in that number of minutes. So then we're going to return that number and see the test cases. So there's 99 minutes with one frame per second. So it's 5940. And then there's 0 minutes and 60 frames per second. It's just minutes, so it's 0. Okay, so we pass all the tests.
Well, that was fun, and that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Remember to smash the like button and subscribe. Bye bye.